Good morning, everybody. This is Anna Jenkins, Marketing Coordinator at Core BTS, and welcome to today's webinar, Supporting Business Processes and Simplifying IT Operations Management with a Microsoft-hosted solution. Throughout our presentation this morning, we encourage you to interact with us by typing in questions and comments using the Q&A pane in the Event Center. We'll be answering questions live both during the event and after the presentation. We're also recording today's session and we'll make the link available after the event via email. Today on our panel, we have Tim Flight, National Director, and Dan Christie, Solutions Architect. At this time, I will pass it along to Tim to get us started.
Okay, good morning, and thank you, Anna. I appreciate the introduction. As Anna said, guys, my name is Tim Flight. My job at Core BTS here is essentially I manage our relationships with Microsoft in terms of our partner relationship with them. As you can see on the slide in front of you, Core BTS is a Microsoft Gold partner, as well as a Microsoft Azure Circle partner, and we hold a variety of competencies with Microsoft. I also have Dan Christie on the phone. I'm sorry, on the webinar with us. Dan is a member of my team who helps with designs, architecture, pre-sales work with our clients here at Core BTS. The topic today is Microsoft Azure EMS Intune. It's a long topic, but essentially today's webinar is going to be focused around how Core BTS, leveraging Microsoft and Microsoft technologies, can help you guys or help our clients, take advantage of some of these, these features and how they can benefit your organization. We do have a few slides we're going to go through. I will discuss the various topics on the slides. As Anna said, if you have any questions at all, please put them into the panel where you have an option to place a question. We'd love to make it interactive. But until we get any questions, I will go through the content and we can follow up with questions as they come. So just a quick look at the agenda here, guys. Microsoft refers to some of these technologies as their modern business. And the topics of this slide in general is the path to the modern business, and, in particular, how you leverage partner like Core BTS in conjunction with Microsoft to get there. We're going to go through a Microsoft Azure overview. We're going to talk about some of the key business solutions that are available within that platform, focusing around hosting your apps, your data, servers, et cetera, in the cloud. Then we'll talk about the different pricing models and options in terms of how you can leverage the technology. And a little bit about EMS, which is Microsoft's solution for managing, securing devices as well. So let's move on here. So Microsoft and Core BTS empower small and medium-sized businesses by making technology as a business advantage as opposed to just something you have to deal with. With Core BTS and Microsoft, you can choose your own path to get to the modern business, which again is what Microsoft refers to, the essentially cloud-enabled, business model. You can choose your own path to get to the modern business with flexible, complete, and trusted solutions for your business, your desktop to mobile, server, cloud, etc. For small and medium businesses, Microsoft and Core BTS offer technologies and solutions designed to address your business goals and challenges across 4 key areas. Growing efficiently, so that would refer to using technology to reduce costs and to be an enabler of your business growth. So allow IT to work with your business, allow IT to be part of the business growth, and let IT be involved in how the business grows as opposed to IT being a cost center and an afterthought. Safeguarding your business. Obviously, everybody knows that security is top of mind, especially in the information technology world, even more so now than ever, whether it should be more top of mind now than it was, and it is nonetheless. So keeping your data protected and being prepared for the unexpected so that you know that your business will never skip a beat. So they talk about security in terms of the actual security of the data, as well as security in terms of ensuring uptime, longevity, things of that nature. Doing business anywhere. Getting the benefits of a mobile, productive team that can work together wherever they happen to be, and connecting with customers. Getting the competitive advantage and really understanding your customers and making meaningful connections to build long-term relationships. Let's move along. A key component of the modern business solutions for small and medium-sized business is Microsoft Azure. Microsoft offers a unique level of flexibility to small and medium businesses on how and where to host your applications, whether on the servers, Whether on your servers or in the cloud, you can host apps on Microsoft Azure's fully managed cloud infrastructure. This offers the benefits of fast deployment at no capital expense for server hardware at all. With Azure, you only pay for the resources you use. And what that really is getting at is the fact that this is a true, Azure is a true infrastructure as a service offering where you literally only pay for the time cycles of various components that you use and nothing else. From there, you can scale your applications up or down as needed to meet changing business demands. And once the applications are hosted in the cloud, it's very easy to enable remote and mobile access for your employees so that the right people can get to the applications they need from anywhere. When it comes to protecting your data and making sure things stay up and running, you can have the peace of mind that Azure hosted applications will have the continuous uptime with Azure's 99.95% guaranteed monthly service level agreement. So folks, we at Core BTS have done a lot of work with customers and helping them make moves to the cloud, take advantage of platforms like Azure with Microsoft. And it's very rare for an on-premise organization, even a sizable on-premise organization to be able to build an infrastructure that can meet and guarantee a 99.95% SLA. From day one, as you move applications or services, servers, data, et cetera, to the Azure cloud offering, Microsoft passes on a 99.95% SLA, which means if that data is not available, 99.95% of the time, or those applications aren't available, they pay you back. They credit back what you would be paying for those services. So it's an extremely fast way to increase SLAs to your business and much more affordable than if you were trying to do the same thing on premise. Okay. Microsoft Azure helps small, medium-sized businesses grow with greater efficiency and be more responsive to change. It's a flexible cloud platform that enables you to quickly build, deploy, and manage applications across a global network of Microsoft-managed data centers. You can build applications using any language, tool, or framework, and you can integrate your public cloud applications with your existing IT environment. With Azure, you can be up and running fast, scale up or down as needed, and avoid high capital costs paying for only what you use. And that really is a key thing to point out there, folks. When you start to look at platforms like Azure with Microsoft and you work with a partner like Core BTS, you can literally be up and running in very short order. And most of our clients don't come to us and say, hey, we're interested in moving to an IaaS platform like Azure, and we'd like to move our entire data center there tomorrow. We typically start helping our customers identify a specific workload that they have a need to roll out. So they have a net new project that's been handed down to the IT department, or they have a server that's due for refresh, some kind of event where they're saying, I would really rather not go the traditional route of buying another server, buying more storage, building out the application, adding it to my systems management platform, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So most of our customers, when we help them make the move and start leveraging platforms like Azure, it's something that is the impetus, one or two things that we get started with, and you can use as much or as little as the platform as you want, and that's a way to get out there. We have a lot of customers that we help roll out Office 365, and there's typically a small Azure component to that, where they get started with that, and from that you can grow. So you can get a small taste of what it's like to use the Azure platform in the cloud, and that gives you the opportunity to become accustomed to it, understand the kind of value it can bring to your organization, and then you can move on forward with that. I guess the point I'm trying to make there is just it's not there's by no means any kind of huge investment whatsoever to get started, to say, quote unquote, hey, I've moved something to the cloud. This slide here talks about the global data centers. The scale of Microsoft Azure truly is global. This is probably out of date already, this slide deck, but if you go to azure.microsoft.com/English, I can send it out, /en-us/regions, it'll show you this whole list of data centers. But the point of this here is that Microsoft has data centers all over the world where this infrastructure runs. And depending upon your organization and the way that you license with them, you can dictate the data live within certain regions. But the way they're able to guarantee the kind of uptime they do is that without you even knowing or having to manage it or have anything to do with it, the data is globally replicated at all times at no additional cost, right? It's just part of the price you pay for the service. Okay, so this slide, a little bit of why the cloud. With all the talk about cloud computing today, it can be helpful to take a step back and really understand what the cloud is and why it matters to your business. At the most basic level, the public cloud is about instantly extending your IT infrastructure, and it can offer small to medium to mid-size, large organizations a lot of benefits. It means you can be up and running fast, you can bring products and services to market faster than the competition, and spend more time innovating and less time managing IT infrastructure. Again, back to that point where IT can kind of be enablers to your business as opposed to, a roadblock or something that has to get accomplished. It means that you instantly have global scale. There's really no way to, have data in a data center on a global scale cheaper or quicker than something along the lines of a platform like this. So you have everything you need to support your business growth ready to go when you need it. This means you don't have to worry about running out of capacity for things like file storage or scaling up your applications to support more employees or more customers. And it means that you can run your operations more cost effectively. With the cloud, you pay only for what you use, helping you save money as you grow your business. This can be especially beneficial for any applications that have variable computing needs, whether you need to quickly accommodate the storage of large files or you need to meet peak customer demand for an online sale. Moving to the cloud also means that you don't have to make capital investments in hardware, freeing up budget to spend on other business needs. The cloud also offers small and mid-sized organizations enterprise-level security with a high level of data protection and data center security required by the largest organizations. For a lot of businesses, it isn't practical if the cloud is an all or none proposition, like I mentioned earlier. Rarely do we have companies come to us and say, hey, tomorrow I'd like to move my whole organization to the cloud. They need the flexibility to run some applications on premises while moving others to the cloud, when it makes sense for them. This is where Microsoft is different. Microsoft's the only vendor that offers a consistent technology platform, whether you're running your servers on site, virtualizing your workloads, or moving them to the cloud. Microsoft offers the same familiar tools that make this hybrid IT approach easy and seamless, both on-premise and in their cloud. So whether you're testing the cloud for the first time or going all in, Core BTS and Microsoft have a platform that can help and provide you the tools to help you every step of the way. And some of that reiterates what I was talking earlier about, how to adopt these solutions and how to get your feet wet with it. So hosting your applications in the cloud with Microsoft Azure. Many organizations today are choosing to host business applications in the cloud. With Microsoft Azure, you can quickly move applications from on-site servers to the cloud, creating major benefits such as avoiding the capital expense of purchasing new server hardware, leveraging the Azure cloud infrastructure to scale up or down as needed, and getting the added protection of multiple data backups within the geographies that you choose. And again, you guys can choose that. So if you're a business that has data that you're not allowed to store outside of the US or outside of the EU, things of that nature, you can dictate that. With Azure, you have a choice in how to make the cloud work for your business. You can build cloud-native applications or simply move applications from on-site servers to the cloud within a virtual machine. This slide deck also talks about a couple examples. I'm not going to hit them all, but let me bring up one of them here, for example. So for SQL Server databases, and this is something that customers come to us often because SQL is expensive, obviously. SQL typically requires a good amount of storage with high I/O and things of that nature. So if you currently have SQL Server databases on site, Azure provides a fast, easy way to benefit from their cloud-based hosting. Microsoft Azure makes it simple to move your SQL Server databases to the cloud. From there, you can depend on Azure to scale up or down as needed and support the changing data demands of your business without the need for new capital expense. You can also rely on automatic backups of your database for added protection. Hosting your databases on Azure also makes it easy to centralize your data and enable controlled access from mobile and remote customers and employees. Finally, because it's Microsoft, you have the advantage of knowing it's engineered to work together from the ground up, ensuring stability and security, for your data, whether it's on-site or the cloud. And the reason I'm picking SQL is just because the other day I was working with a customer that's rolling out a new, essentially a new customer CRM program, and this customer is not huge, couple hundred employees, and the vendor for their application is telling them they needed this massive SQL environment, multiple SQL servers clustered, enterprise versions of SQL, enormous amounts of storage, I/O, et cetera, et cetera. And when we went back to the vendor and said, why, and can you provide some specifics, because it was going to be, a six-figure kind of investment just to build the hardware and the licensing. And they said that it's just our estimates that we don't want to make. We want to be certain that you don't have too few resources. And just anecdotally looking at it, we knew that what they were asking for was, extremely overkill for what the system was going to be doing and how the customer is going to be leveraging it. So instead of going that route, they decided to just put it into Microsoft SQL services up in Azure, which includes the licensing, includes everything you need, and can be up and running very quickly. And they start at the smallest footprint. And if they truly do need the kind of throughput and capacity that the vendor said they do, then they can just scale it up within Azure and pay for it when they use it. I'm very confident that they don't, and that the vendor was just erring on the side of caution. So instead of putting out a ton of capital expenditure, the customer was able to get the application, or at least the database for the application where it needed to be in short order, and spend a lot less money than they originally thought they would have to. So that's just one example, and there's many examples like that of how you can kind of get started inside something like that, inside Azure. So is your data backed up? Did you back up your data? It's a pretty good question. It's a question you hope to never have to ask if data storage is damaged or system failure occurs. However, many businesses lose critical data because they don't have a data backup solution. In addition to disaster recovery, which provides business continuity when systems go down, data backup provides another level of data protection by maintaining a copy of your data and your applications. However, as small and mid-sized organizations struggle to keep up with growing data storage demands, backing up data can be costly and time-consuming, requiring additional capital investment in backup systems and media, etc. Predicting future requirements or related investments to go along with that can also be very difficult. Move forward here. So we're talking here a little bit about Microsoft Azure Backup. So with Microsoft Azure Backup, you have a simple, reliable, cost-effective option for backing up your data to the cloud. Azure Backup encrypts and protects your backups in the off-site cloud storage with Azure adding an additional layer of protection in case of data loss or disaster that impacts your servers. Azure Backups works with any applications and data you have, including file servers, SQL servers, SharePoint servers, Exchange, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Pretty much any workload you might have in your data center, you can leverage Microsoft's Azure Backup offering to back up that data. And, not only does it back up the data, you immediately get it off-site, as opposed to, a traditional model where you might do disk-to-disk backup and then maybe once a month go disk to some other kind of media and ship that off-site to a third party. This is all happening as one step. It's also cost-effective. Microsoft Azure Backups helps you avoid the infrastructure investment associated with storage, enabling you to only pay for the amount you use. With Microsoft Azure, there's also no per server or data transfer fees. You only actually pay for the amount of data that you're backing up, as opposed to the bandwidth, et cetera, associated with copying it. You can scale this as needed as well. Microsoft Azure Backup also provides a fast and easy way to meet changing storage requirements. Leveraging Microsoft's global data centers, you have the ability to quickly scale up or down as needed. And you're getting enterprise-grade protection. Moving your backups to the cloud with Azure can also help significantly improve your data protection, leveraging the same cloud platform relied upon by some of the world's largest financial institutions. The servers are all geo-redundant, so if servers go down in a data center in one location, they're already backed up and ready to go in multiple other locations around the world. And Azure backups are always encrypted for a high level of protection. On top of that, it's simple. If you have a small number of servers to protect, Azure Backup provides an easy solution, directly integrating with the Microsoft Server backup tools you might already be using. One thing to mention that's not really called out in the slides here is that the Azure platform integrates very tightly with the Microsoft Server 2012 and 2012 R2 platforms. So if you're a Microsoft Server environment, it's extremely easy to integrate your Microsoft Server environment with the Azure platform, where you can connect your existing servers right up to the cloud and take advantage of the Azure hosted storage, Azure hosted backup, et cetera, and all the different features that you can get with it. So this slide specifically speaks to SQL and backups. Typically databases house some of the most critical data in your organization. So for organizations running any version of SQL Server, Microsoft Azure offers a fast, easy way to back up your on-site database to the cloud. Your backup database Gets all the benefits of Microsoft Azure storage, including the ability to scale as your data grows, enterprise-grade data protection, and the elimination of capital expense for storage hardware. You're paying only for what you use again. The backups can be automated. Your backup files can be encrypted for additional protection, and you use point-in-time restore to recover data from a specific time in the past. So you can literally go back and say, let me have my database back as of, 3:12 p.m. yesterday. In the case of an on-premise failure, you can also easily restore your backup in a Microsoft Azure virtual machine to get your backup and running and get your database back online. So what they're getting at there is even if you're only using the backup service with Azure, should you have lost your whole data center or a whole server, you could restore the database out in Azure and then spin up a VM within Azure to host the database. All right. So many small and mid-sized businesses have the in-house skills to build their own websites and host them on an on-site server. However, this can create unforeseen challenges as your business grows and as website use increases. Availability. If your internet connection goes down, so does your website, which can mean lost customers and lost sales revenue. Performance. Also, if you are limited to the internet bandwidth available at your office, performance can suffer, causing a frustrating customer experience on your website. Security. Today's customers expect a secure experience when doing business online, whether you're storing customer email addresses, capturing credit card data, etc. Setting up the required security measures and keeping up with the latest threats is often extremely complex and costly for many businesses. And then just cost in general. As your business grows, you need to expand the capacity of your infrastructure to support a growing number of customers. And when you host your own site, this means purchasing new hardware, including servers, networking devices, storage, etc., requiring capital investment. So hosting your website in the cloud, obviously the counterpoint to the previous slide. With Azure, you can now move your website to the cloud, making it easy to provide a reliable, satisfying, and secure customer experience without the need to invest in costly infrastructure. High availability. Know your website is backed up on multiple servers around the world, so if one location goes down, another one goes online to take its place. Fast, responsive performance. Get the massive bandwidth available to the cloud data center so the customer experience on your website stays fast and responsive as your site traffic grows, regardless of how large it grows. The latest security. Rely on the latest website security, including firewalls, encryptions, and always up-to-date malware protection built into the platform. Premium resources at budget prices. The cloud enables you to benefit from economies of scale, giving you access to premium resources at budget prices. Run your websites with pay-as-you-go pricing, scaling up when you need, and paying for only what you use. Hosting your site in the cloud means you no longer have to purchase and maintain infrastructure like servers and software. You pay just an affordable monthly fee that scales along with your usage. And that really does bring to the point that you can get the absolute tier one hosting kind of functionality that Microsoft has to offer at fractions of the prices that would cost you to build it on-premise. So this deck here and a few of the decks speak a little bit about Azure purchasing options. And I'm going to kind of go off script here for a little bit to give you folks some idea. So Core BTS, as a Microsoft Azure Circle partner, one thing we help a lot of our clients with is taking a look at Azure and understanding the ways that you can take advantage of it and how you can purchase it. As I've said multiple times throughout this slide deck, Azure is all about pay as you go. So start small, use what you need. As you grow, you pay more. If you shrink, you pay less, things of that nature. There's multiple ways to do that, going direct to Microsoft. If you're a larger organization and you have an enterprise agreement with Microsoft, they'll incorporate Azure pricing into that as well. Also, we offer another method when you work with a partner like ourselves at Core BTS. We have a relationship with Microsoft such that we can actually resell you Azure, all the Azure services and offerings we talked about today at a less cost than even going direct. If you see right there on the left, it says going direct to azure.microsoft.com. We can provide you anything that you could purchase on there at actually a reduced price while working with us. And on top of that, we incorporate our no additional cost solutions architects to help with the architecture and design and help you understand how you might want to leverage Azure and how you might want to get started with the process. So if you have any additional questions about this, I'm not going to get into pricing. Microsoft licensing is confusing, as I'm sure everybody knows. But we have all that expertise in-house at Core BTS, and we'd be glad to help you with that process. So a little bit of a slide here about why Microsoft and why the Azure cloud and why work with Core and Microsoft. There's many benefits that come with working with a single vendor, single partner solution from an experienced and proven vendor like Microsoft. Partners have the flexibility to work across clouds, whether it be private, public, and hosted. Most partners will already have customers that are invested in trust products like SQL Server, SharePoint, Windows Server, Hyper-V, etc. Now that those products are available in a consumption-based model that enables you to maintain your direct relationships with Microsoft in the cloud, you can think about how these services offer a way for you to evolve. And the point of that is the majority of customers that we work with have a Microsoft footprint on-premise. Many of our clients will come to us and say, you know, we're at a certain point in our Microsoft lifecycle. We haven't moved from Server 2008 to Server 2012. We haven't moved from SQL 2008 to SQL 2012 or SQL 2014. Whatever the product might be, whatever the lifecycle stage might be, a lot of the business that Core BTS does is working with customers and trying to understand how they're going to make that next step, how they're going to move along with the Microsoft product lifecycle. So taking advantage of Microsoft's cloud offering and working with Core BTS, we can help you make that move into the current release of the lifecycle and also drastically change that process for you going forward. Once you make the move to the cloud with these different platforms, that lifecycle change happens. It's not a major event for you anymore. It's not an additional purchase. It's just an ongoing operational cost. So by going with Microsoft, which is a platform you're already trusting on-premise to run your business, all you're really doing is shifting that to the cloud, making it an operational expense, and then also eliminating some of the hassle that comes along with the traditional lifecycle management of the product releases. So next steps. Let us help you begin your implementation plan. Essentially here, we're at the point in the slide deck where we're talking about how do you guys get started. And I mentioned a few times throughout the slide deck that Core BTS partners very tightly with Microsoft. We hold goal competencies. We hold specific Azure-related competencies around Microsoft's cloud deployment offerings. We also participate in multiple programs with Microsoft. So if you're organizations of scale that have Microsoft deployment dollars as part of your enterprise agreements, we can help take advantage of those. Or just you can reach out to Core BTS, and we have my team is responsible for helping our customers review the different offerings that come with Microsoft Azure and the whole entire Microsoft stack in general, helping you understand where your business is at now, understand where you're looking to get to, and to understand if cloud makes sense for you. Obviously, this particular webinar is focused on Microsoft Azure, which is Microsoft's cloud, infrastructure as a service platform. However, we still do all sorts of work in traditional on-premise, operations and so forth. And our goal is really to help you understand what fits, your business, what makes sense for you as you look to move forward. So that's how we're here to help, and that really is the next step. The next step is reach out to Core BTS and let us, provide a free evaluation of your organization and sit down and talk to you about where you're at now and where you'd like to go. Hopefully the cloud can make some sense in that arena for you, and you can start to take advantage of these economies of scale, and we can help you grow with that. And as I said a couple slides back, we can also help you do it at a discounted cost as opposed to going just directly with Microsoft. So we bring a lot of professional services expertise to the table, as well as some potential cost savings. There's just a few more slides here, folks. This next steps was really next steps about the Azure program and all the different IaaS offerings. There's a couple more slides here that talk about some specific application hosting. I'm going to go through them quickly. Some of it's a little bit of reiterated, but just so everybody understands. And when it comes to hosting applications in Azure, you can host apps in the cloud by moving them to a VM on Microsoft Azure. And what this is getting at is if you have a virtual machine running on-premise, it can be as simple as literally taking that virtual machine that's on-premise and migrating it to the cloud. So some customers, we will have to, we'll stand up new virtual machines in Microsoft Azure and build their applications up there. If you're a customer that's up to date, you have a Server 2012 virtual machine that's running, and you just don't want to continue to pay for the storage, the backup, et cetera, that comes along with supporting that workload. It can be as simple as just moving the virtual machine up there. It doesn't have to be a rebuild or anything of that nature. Many applications are good candidates for moving to the cloud with the benefits of the reduced hardware costs and maintenance. For example, moving your existing database to a Microsoft Azure VM offers a simple way to get the benefits of the cloud without having to make a significant change to your application. And again, they're highlighting SQL, and the reason why SQL keeps getting highlighted over and over again is because SQL is expensive, and SQL can be included in the monthly operational cost in Azure and can be a lot more cost effective. And again, SQL is just one example. And I think we'll actually end it on this slide, but we've talked about this a little bit before. Microsoft Azure Backup. Azure Backup is a feature for Windows Server 2012 R2 that you can download and install to schedule file and folder system backups from your server to the Azure Backup, which is a cloud-based backup service managed by Microsoft. So I mentioned earlier, if you're running Server 2012 R2, it has excellent integration points right with Microsoft's cloud, to the point where you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You literally just link the servers to your Azure tenant that you've established and take advantage of that. To transfer data between servers running Server 2012 R2 and Azure Backup, you can either use the Azure Backup agent or the online backup commandlets that are in PowerShell. So if you prefer to do it manually and schedule things through PowerShell, you can, but you also get an agent that's very similar to a backup agent that might come with any other third-party backup software. Again, some of the key benefits are recovering data in case of disasters, destroyed servers, stolen hardware, disk crashes, etc. Recovering data in case of data loss scenarios, such as data accidentally deleted volumes, viruses, etc. I think one reason why this slide's kind of at the end here, and I'd like to make sure I highlight it, is just that this is another very easy way to start to take advantage of Azure. Again, if you're saying to yourself, listen, I know my organization needs to start looking into how we can leverage the cloud. This is the kind of situation where you can have a Server 2012 R2 box on-premise, and in a ridiculously short amount of time, we can help you establish a Microsoft Azure tenant, connect that server to that cloud, use the Azure Backup agent, and literally use that as your organization's backup platform. So if you're using something like Backup Exec today or some other kind of on-site based agent, you can replace that all with Azure Backup agents. And not only you're getting the benefits of a traditional backup like you would on site, it's backing up all your data, it'll flush your Exchange logs, it'll flush your SQL logs, but it's automatically getting it out to the cloud, and then that cloud is automatically geo-redundant. So not only are you getting it backed up, you're getting it off-site, and you're getting that off-site backup redundant. And you're doing it, in most cases, for much less cost than you would to do even step one of that on premise. To go out and buy a piece of backup software, buy storage to have a backup target, buy another piece of equipment to replicate that data to, and then hire a service to ship data offsite. We can have you up and running with all that in a very short amount of time. And again, it's all native. It's all native to the Microsoft platform. So that's one of the great advantages of the Azure platform. When people ask us, why should I use Azure over any of the other various IaaS services out in the cloud? And we all know there's multiple infrastructure as a service offerings out there. One of the easiest answers is, you trust Microsoft to host your on-premise platforms, and Microsoft goes out of their way to make the on-premise server and other tool sets, at least the latest versions, have direct connect and direct integration with Azure. It's just so seamless. So, Anna, with that, we're going to end it with this slide. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to submit them. Again, my name is Tim Flight. I have Dan Christie and Keith Hennessy on as well. These guys are part of my team, and our job here at Core BTS is to help you understand your Microsoft business, understand where you're at in the Microsoft lifecycle, help you with any initiatives you might have, help you understand what Microsoft has to offer, and help you figure out how to get there. So I thank you all for attending, and I appreciate everybody's time.
Great, thank you, Tim. So on behalf of all of our presenters today, we thank you for joining us and taking time to view the presentation. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to marketing.team@Core BTS. Thank you for joining.